Getting closer and closer to that magic hour.
Hey guys, are we clear to close?
Yes.
Thanks. Let me know if you need anything.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
Oh, I don't think we're ready quite yet.
Cabin crew, arm slides and cross-check.
We don't have an ATC function for this, so I'm going to have to pretend. London City Ground. Delta Fort Tree requests pushback and engine start. Delta Fort Tree, pushback and engine start approved. Engine start and pushback approved. Delta Fort Tree.
Parking brakes released.
Pushing back. You are clear behind, and you can start your engines at your discretion.
Great, thank you.
Below the line.
Windows and doors.
Closed.
Closed. Beacon.
On.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
Parking brake.
Off.
Before start, checklist complete.
Starting engine 2. Starting engine 1.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board our flight today. This is the lead flight attendant speaking. Please direct your attention to the cabin crew for important safety information. There is an instruction card in your seat pocket that illustrates the safety equipment on this aircraft. Regulations require compliance with this information as well as all crew instructions, lighted information signs, and posted placards. Fasten your seatbelt by inserting the metal tip into the buckle. Tighten by pulling on the belt. To release your seatbelt, lift the metal flap on the buckle. It is our policy that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times while seated. Doors are clearly marked with exit signs and instructions for door operation. Each door is equipped with an escape slide. Locate the exit nearest you. The nearest exit may be behind you. In an emergency, lights will illuminate the aisle. The cabin is pressurized. If there is a loss of cabin pressure, a panel will open and oxygen masks will appear. Remain seated with your seatbelt fastened and pull a mask toward you to start the flow of oxygen. Oxygen will be flowing to the mask even though the bag may not inflate. Cover your nose and mouth with the mask. Place the elastic band around your head and tighten by pulling on the ends. Secure your own mask before assisting others. Your seat bottom cushion may be used as a flotation device. Pull up and remove the cushion. Upon exiting the aircraft, place your arms around the cushion and hold on to the straps located on the back. This is a non-smoking flight. Smoking is not permitted in the cabin or lavatories. Cabin lights will now be turned off. Reading light buttons are located above your seat. Thank you for your attention.
This is quite the pushback. I had to stop it. Oh, there he goes. I had to stop it or I ended up in the drink. Had to stop it a little prematurely there or we'd end up in the drink. Okay, goodbye, buddy. We're not going to do our little end sequence, it looks like.
After start checklist.
Anti-ice.
Set.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Pitch trim.
27% set.
Rudder trim.
0.
After start checklist complete.
City ground American Delta Lima 4 tree with Sierra ready to taxi IFR.
American Delta Lima 4 tree taxi to and hold short of runway 27 using taxiway Echo Alpha Kilo Mike. Contact tower on 129.455 when ready.
Runway 27 is our runway moving from left to right, so I'm going to get back onto the taxiway and turn left all the way down to the end of the runway.
Taxiing hold short runway 27 via taxiway Delta Echo Alpha Kilo Mike Alpha American Delta Lima 4 tree.
Flight control check.
Full down. Full up. Neutral. Full right. Full left. Neutral.
Rudder.
Full right. Full left. Neutral.
Your turn.
Clear left side.
Clear right side.
Let's taxi. Break off.
Brake check.
Pressure 0.
Before takeoff checklist.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Checked. Flight instruments.
Checked.
Checked. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flap setting.
Config 3.
Config 3. V1. VR. V2. Flex temp.
V1 1 2 6 VR 1 2 7 V2 1 3 1
V1 1 2 6 VR 1 2 7 V2 1 3 1 ATC.
Set.
ECAM memo.
Takeoff. No blue.
Down to the line.
I don't want config 3 on the takeoff, I want config 2. And she set the flaps for 3, so I'm going to move them back up to 2. I may have made a major mistake taxiing here. I didn't know there was all this water. I wonder if I can get across without too much difficulty. Oh, am I bogged down? I might be bogged down. Where did all this water come from? I guess it's typical at this airport to back taxi down and back taxi a little bit. Oh, what's going on here? It's... Ah! Oh my goodness, just averted disaster. This is utter craziness. Utter craziness. Ugh. The worst taxi in the world.
City Tower American Delta Lima 43 at runway 27 ready for departure IFR to Dublin.
American Delta Lima 43 QNH 30.27 wind 288 at 5. Cleared for takeoff runway 27.
Cleared for takeoff runway 27 American Delta Lima 43.
APU off. Lights. Oh, ah. Start the clock.
Below the line.
Cabin crew, be seated for takeoff. Takeoff runway.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. Cabin crew.
Advised.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
PAX.
On.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
I'm going to turn on the progressive wind shear system. I'm going to roll the transponder into the TARA position.
Ready.
Ready.
Takeoff.
Into the flex.
Then flex SRS runway auto thrust blue.
Check.
Into
Thrust
the
set.
flex detent.
$100 knots.
Check.
V1. Rotate. Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear up.
American Delta Lima 43 contact London Center on 118.475.
Again, I've never been to London. This looks fantastic.
118.475 for American Delta Lima 43.
Flap 0.
Speed check. Flap 0.
Autopilot on.
After takeoff, climb checklist.
Landing gear.
Up.
Flaps.
Retracted.
PAX.
On.
Down to the line.
Below the line.
Barrel ref.
We said our transition was 5,000 feet.
Set standard.
Standard cross check. Passing flight level 0, 5, 2. Now.
Check. Standard set.
Standard set. After takeoff checklist complete.
One good thing about flying in England, I guess it's roughly the size of, maybe a little bit larger than New Jersey. So As long as you stay within England, the flights are pretty short. I don't think this one is longer than half an hour. You can see all the waypoints are boom, 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 boom. I don't plan on climbing above 12,000 feet. I'm sure this default air traffic controller won't give me anything above 12,000 feet.
You have control.
I have control.
Hi, it's Andy at L1. How can I help you?
Just to let you know, we're going to be arriving a bit early.
Thanks for letting me know.
Hi, could you bring us up a couple of crew meals, please?
Okay, I'll bring them up in a minute. Hi guys, here are the crew meals you asked for. Enjoy!
Thank you. Hi, could you bring us some water, please?
Okay, I'll bring the drinks up in a minute. Hi guys, here are the drinks.
Thank you.
So even though we had the throttle set, I never moved the throttle from the flex takeoff position. So even though auto throttle was set and armed, we still overspeed. We went into overspeed. So I failed in pulling the throttle back to the climb position. And that's why we got that overspeed alarm. My fault. Seatbelt sign is off. And the English countryside. As from an American perspective, it's a patchwork of land ownership. And that's also very much what the eastern United States looks like. But in the United States, anything that was surveyed after the American Civil War does not look like this. After the Civil War, the United States went on to what's called the township system, which means everything is on a perfect grid. The roads are lined up with magnetic north, so the major roadways would be oriented north, south, east, west. And these properties would form perfect grids. This system, I believe it's called the meets and bounds system. And when the meets and bounds means my property meets yours. The landmark could be a tree or a river or a other prominent feature. All I'm trying to do is set standard. What's going on here? What do I need to do to set standard? Pull for standard. There we go. What is that nasty alarm? What that alarm is. Everything seems fine. You wouldn't think you would have an oral alarm without a corresponding visual indication. That had something to do with the autopilot. Well, we're up to 12,000 feet now at standard pressure. Looks like we've got a slight wind off our nose to the left. And as we are gradually turning to the left, that slight left wind will turn more directly into a headwind, which is fine. Seven is our runway in Dublin. This is set as 1.6. Change this. Uh, 2.8 actually, 2.8. 2.8 left. Okay, very good.
London Center, American Delta Lima 4-tree, 12,000 feet.
American Delta Lima 4-tree, London Center, QNH 30.21, continue to Pippin as planned. Delta Lima 43, please expedite your descent 12,000 feet. American Delta Lima 43, please expedite your descent 12,000 feet. American Delta Lima 43, contact Manchester Center on 118.775.
.775 American Delta Lima 43.
The only thing I can think of why she's not happy with my 12,000 feet is that she might be set up for a transition at 18,000 feet, and she thinks that I am still on the local setting. So let's make her happy. And go to that local setting. Okay, now she's gonna be happy. Now she'll be happy. I did not set up a star in the McDo, but we do have a star as part of our flight plan. Bagso, Adsis, Kirav, and then vectors onto our final. Latmo 278, 3,000 feet at Latmo, step down to 2,500. Final approach fix is the Maltese Cross. Wonderful. As we approach the coast, it's not uncommon, that's a double negative if there ever was one, it's not uncommon to see what's called a marine layer, an area of moist air that rises along a shoreline. And as it rises, it cools, it condenses, and it forms clouds. So you can see just a little bit of a marine layer we are encountering. Icing can occur at any temperature below 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So even in the spring and summertime, you can still get icing. about to go feet wet.
Manchester Center, American Delta Lima 4-3, 12,000 feet.
American Delta Lima 4-3, Manchester Center, QNH 30.24, continue to its lowest land. American Delta Lima 4-3, climb and maintain flight level 180.
Climb and maintain flight level 180, American Delta Lima 4-3. Manchester Center, American Delta Lima 4-tree. Request 8,000 feet.
American Delta Lima, 4-tree descent, and maintain 12,000 feet. Expect 8,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 12,000 feet. Expect 8,000 feet. American Delta Lima 4-tree.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again from the flight deck, this is the captain speaking. We're going to begin our initial descent here momentarily. At this time, I'm going to turn the seatbelt sign back on, so please return to your seats and keep your seatbelt securely fastened until the aircraft has come to a stop at the gate and the seatbelt sign has been turned off. It's been our pleasure having you on board for today's flight, and we hope to see you back on a future flight again real soon. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
Manchester Center, American Delta Lima 4-tree. Request 4,000 feet.
American Delta Lima, 4-tree descent, and maintain 12,000 feet. Expect 4,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 12,000 feet. Expect 4,000 feet. American Delta Lima 4-tree.
American Delta Lima, 4-tree descent, and maintain 4,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 4,000 feet. American Delta Lima 4-tree.
American Delta Lima 43, please expedite your descent 4,000 feet.
I have control.
You have control.
Approach checklist.
Briefing.
Confirmed.
ECAM status.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be arriving at our destination shortly. If you are making a
Check.
connection to another
Barrel rep.
flight, please see the customer service
1,
agent
0,
meeting this
2,
flight or
4,
video
set.
monitors
1,
inside the
0,
terminal for
2,
connecting
4,
gate
set.
information.
Minimum.
For your continued safety, flight
Set.
attendants
Set.
will now walk
Engine
through
mode
the cabin
selector.
to secure it for landing. We'll
Normal.
be collecting
Approach
all service
checklist complete.
items, newspapers, and any other items you wish to discard or may not be taking off the aircraft with you. Also, in preparation for landing, please turn off all electronic devices. Stow these devices and all other carry-on items. Please use caution when opening overhead bins as items may have shifted during our flight. Please stow your tray tables and return your seats to their upright position and check the security of your seatbelts. We will be landing shortly. Thank you.
Manchester Center, American Delta Lima 43. Request 2,000 feet.
American Delta Lima 43 request denied.
Not even a modifier, huh? Just plain old denied. Ha ha ha, that's okay. Am I going to fly right through that towering cumulonimbus? This would be a good time to ask for a diversion a couple degrees to the right or a couple degrees to the left, but this would be a new experience for me if we get right through the towering cumulonimbus. Since we're in a simulator, what the heck, let's just go for it. What's the worst that could happen? That wasn't so bad.
Delta Lima, 4 tree climb and maintain 6,000 feet.
Climb and maintain 6,000 feet American Delta Lima 4 tree.
American Delta Lima, 4 tree contact Shannon Center on 1 tree 2.15.
One tree 2.15 American Delta Lima 4 tree. Shannon Center American Delta Lima 4 tree is passing 4,400 feet, climbing 6,000 feet.
American Delta Lima 4 tree Shannon Center QNH tree 0.15. Continue as planned. American Delta Lima 4 tree contact Dublin approach on 119.555.
Going to 119.555 American Delta Lima 4 tree. Dublin approach American Delta Lima 4 tree 6,000 feet.
American Delta Lima 4 tree Dublin approach QNH tree 0.15 continue as planned. American Delta Lima 4 tree you are 29 miles northeast. Maintain present heading and altitude, expect ILS runway 16 approach via Carib transition. Cleared to Carib.
Okay, well, we just been given a change up.
American Delta Lima 4 tree climb and maintain 16,000 feet.
Gotta be ready for anything, right? 16,000 feet. Runway 16, Carib transition.
Climb and maintain 16,000 feet, expect ILS runway 16 approach via Carib transition, cleared to Carib American Delta Lima 4 tree.
American Delta Lima 4 tree contact Shannon Center on 132.15. American Delta Lima 4 tree, did you hear my last transmission?
132.15 American Delta Lima 4 tree. Shannon Center American Delta Lima 4 tree is at 9,200 feet, climbing 16,000 feet.
American Delta Lima 4 tree Shannon Center QNH tree 0.15. Continue to Carib as planned. American Delta Lima 4 tree descent and maintain 6,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 6,000 feet American Delta Lima 4 tree.
I feel like a yo-yo. Go up, go down, go up, go down.
American Delta Lima 4 tree, please expedite your descent 6,000 feet. Delta Lima 4 treat contact Manchester Center on 118.775.
Going to 118.775 American Delta Lima 4 tree. Manchester Center American Delta Lima 4 tree is passing 11,700 feet, descending 6,000 feet.
American Delta Lima 4 tree Manchester Center QNH 30.15. Continue to caravan planned. American Delta Lima 4 tree contact Shannon Center on 132.15.
Going to 132.15 American Delta Lima 4 tree. Shannon Center American Delta Lima 4 tree is at 10,700 feet, descending 6,000 feet.
American Delta Lima 4 tree Shannon Center QNH 30.15. Continue to caravan planned. American Delta Lima 4 tree contact Dublin approach on 119.555.
119.555 American Delta Lima 4 tree. Dublin approach American Delta Lima 4 tree is at 9,700 feet, descending 6,000 feet.
American Delta Lima 4 tree Dublin approach QNH 30.15. Continue to caravan as planned.
Why couldn't I stay on runway 28? Looks like I would have a... Well, I've got a headwind here at 23. So 28 I would have a slight wind off my left nose. It certainly seems like a better runway than 16. Who knows? By the time I get there, they'll probably change over to 28 anyway. But all you can say is that I am a little fish, and it is their big pond. So we play their game.
American Delta Lima 4 tree keeps speed not above 210 knots.
You don't like my speed? Not above 210. Okay, well I'm right at 210, so...
Keep speed not above 210 knots American Delta Lima 4 tree.
We're from America. We're used to going fast. $6,000-foot constraint at Urdu. I guess instead of having a wind off of our left forward quarter, landing 16 will have a wind off of our right forward quarter. So I guess 6 of one, half dozen of the other. That doesn't really make any difference. Neither one of them is a nice, perfect headwind. Level at 6,000, well before due. And preparing to go feet dry on the Irish coast. Fuel on board 3240, so we haven't even used half of our fuel.
American Delta Lima 4-tree, descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Keep speed not above 180 knots.
Down to 3,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Keep speed not above 180 knots. American Delta Lima 4-tree.
And we'll start to go into speed control.
Flaps 1.
Speed checked.
American Delta Lima 4-tree, you are
Flaps
15
1.
miles north of Dublin. Contact Dublin Tower on 118.6 when inbound on the approach.
Tower on 118.6 American Delta Lima 4-tree. Dublin Tower, American Delta Lima 431 4 miles north inbound ILS runway 16 approach.
American Delta Lima 43 Dublin Tower. QNH 30.18 wind 1906 at
Flaps
1
2.
meter.
Speed checked.
Cleared ILS runway 16 approach.
Flaps 2.
Cleared ILS runway 16 approach American Delta Lima 43.
Gear down.
Gear down.
Flaps 3.
Speed checked. Flaps 3.
Flaps full.
Speed checked.
Flaps full.
Cabin crew, be seated for landing.
Landing checklist.
Cabin crew,
Advised.
auto thrust.
Medium brakes. Speed brake armed.
Speed.
Auto brake.
Low.
ECAM memo.
No blue.
Landing. No blue.
Landing checklist complete.
Why am I not getting any? This has happened with Microsoft Flight Simulator before, where I haven't gotten any ILS frequency on an ILS approach. Needless to say, it's not an ideal situation. And without an ILS approach, the best thing to do is to go off of autopilot.
American Delta Lima 43 wind 145 at 15.
Checked.
Cleared to land runway 16.
Cleared to land runway 16 American Delta Lima 43.
High on the pappy. We have that right quartering headwind, as I expected. It's really not having much of an effect. So listed as 11 knots, but it's not having much of an effect. The sight picture looks good, although we're still showing high on the pappy.
Checked.
Still showing high on the Pappy. Pappy coming in.
500. 400. 100 above.
On glide slope.
Minimum.
Continue.
Sync rate.
$50.